Hey there, welcome to More Wellness TV. My name is Collie and I'm going to guide you through a 15-minute warm-up routine pre-run. I guess the big question is, do you warm up before you run? Because quite likely that you might tend to skip it if you're short on time or if you perhaps don't know what to do. Hopefully through the sequence you'll see that yoga can be a great way of getting the body moving in lots of beneficial ways. So let's warm up the muscles, we'll lengthen them out so the joints can move nice and properly, and we'll get the blood flow going, we'll start to increase the body temperature a little bit, and generally just sort of get you set mentally ready, prepared for a decent run ahead. So whenever you're ready, let's start. Seated position, just take a moment to get nice and comfortable wherever is good for you. We won't be here for too long. And then perhaps just once you're settled, take a few nice satisfying breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth to settle into this little session. Couple more. Nice way of just drawing a line under whatever you were doing previously and bringing your attention into this space and place. And just take a moment to feel good about introducing a little bit of movement pre-run that should be good for the run ahead. One more nice deep nasal breath all the way down into the lower belly. And a long exhale all of the way out. Slow it down. One more time. In and out of the nose. And then when you're ready, we'll just gently make our way towards our all fours. We're going to start to move the hips. Start to mobilize them a little bit. Take your time, and when you are there, left knee, let's sweep it out towards the side. Go ahead and flex the left foot. And then just very simply, 3 or 4 big circles with the left knee. Start to loosen out your hip joint a little bit. You can take it in the other direction as well. And maybe go ahead and really go very wide with the circle, couple of rounds, and then go a little bit narrower. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. Right knee, take it out, flex foot, and then really mindful, really kind of precise circles. It's nice to sort of picture the thigh bone here as it moves around in the hip socket. Even as you take this light movement, you'll hopefully notice or feel just a little bit of lubrication to the joint, start to loosen things out. From here, let's take it towards our downward facing dog. We'll spread the fingers nice and wide, press the toes on the mat, lift the knees all the way up. Have a little pedal out of your feet when you get there. And I certainly recommend wagging the tail of your dog quite a lot. Get some purchase on pressing quite hard into the backs of your legs. Helps to lengthen out. Also helps to check in with how your legs are feeling today. And then without further ado, just a little step or a jump to the front of your mat. Feet hip distance apart, and we'll come all the way up, standing position. Take your time. Little shoulder roll when you get there. Start to loosen out the top half of the body. And when you're ready, we'll take a series of lunges to tap into some dynamic stretching, just to get the body moving. Let's take the left leg to the back of the mat. Little lunge here. You can take the hands onto the thigh, or maybe even just a classic high lunge with the arms above the head, whatever you want to go for. And then straight away, left foot, front of the mat, mountain pose. Let's do that with the other one, right foot, back of the mat. Make sure your left knee is on top of your left ankle. And then step forwards. A couple more times on each side. Keep the gaze nice and steady to help the balance. One more, both left and right. Little bend of the back knee when you land. And then we'll do the same moves, but we'll build on it. Let's take the left foot to the back of the mat, hands to heart center this time, bit of spinal rotation. You can turn the rib cage to the right, and then come back to the middle. Left foot joins the right foot at the front of the mat. Same thing again, right foot, back of the mat, find your lunge, and then turn to the left. Awesome. One more time on each side. Clearly as you run, you're going to be swinging the arms forwards and backwards, which is rotating your spine. So you want to just ease into it with some rotations here before you get moving. Let's do the same thing but a little bit different. Left foot back of the mat. This time right hand, just drop it down towards your side and then lift the left arm up and over the body for a side bend. Breathe, stay focused, and then when you're good, step to the front of the mat. Same thing, other side. Right foot, back of the mat, left hand down, right arm up and over. One more time. Left foot back of the mat, left arm up and over. Ideally, we're trying to create some space between left fingertips all the way down the side body towards the left knee. Try and exaggerate that space. Little turn of the chest to the ceiling, and then step to the front of the mat. One more time. Right foot, back of the mat, left hand goes down, and then right arm up and over. Don't forget to breathe, and then we'll easy does it, step to the front of the mat, take a nice forward fold. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, fold on over your legs. Bend your knees quite a lot, particularly if your hamstrings are feeling a little bit tight. And just go ahead and grab your elbows, swing it out, shake it from side to side. Great position here to lengthen your spine, but more specifically for running, let's take the hands down and start to straighten out one leg. So you're kind of coaxing out a little bit of length in the hamstrings there. Rebend the knee a lot, and then straighten out the other leg. And just take your time with this. You might want to go 2 or 3 times on each side. Just gliding and easing out a little bit of length each time. From here, let's shuffle the feet a little bit wider than where they are, heels in, toes out. And we'll take a squat by bending the knees and extending the arms out forward. So really good chance to fire up the glutes, the hamstrings, create a little bit of heat on the backside of the legs. And then all the way up standing. Let's do that a few times. Bend the knees, go down. And then straighten the legs, lift up tall. 2 more times. A little guide or a little tip, try and bend the knees in the direction of your little toes rather than your big toes, so you're not allowing your knees to cave in and your leg ultimately to twist. Let's go for one more and we'll land down in the squat. And then just to continue to build up a little bit of heat, let's go for the pulse, where we lift the bum and the hips up 4 or 5 times, firing up the power in the hamstrings and the glutes. Easy does it. Let's fold on over the legs, straighten them out, shuffle your feet in towards hip distance apart. Let's take our attention to the ankles, slowly come up towards standing. You can lift the arms above the head when you get there. Take your time with this one. We'll lift up onto the tiptoes. We're lifting up the heels. Stand real tall up onto the tiptoes, coming to what's called plantar flexion for your ankle, and then slowly lower the heels, bend your knees. You can drop the hands down. As we bend the knees, we come into dorsiflexion, so we're pushing the knees beyond the toes. So let's do that and only that a couple of times. Straight legs, lift up onto your tiptoes, and then bend the knees, push them beyond your toes as far forwards as you can. Dorsiflexion. A few more times. And you can kind of go quickly or go slowly with this one. But as you take your run, each kind of step, you're going through both of these motions. So it's really a good chance to try and increase the range, so that when you do come to run, the push off the ground is a little bit greater each time. Alrighty. Once you're done, let's take a forward fold over the legs. Easy does it. Step back to your plank. And we'll take just a moment here to fire up the core. Very important for the running. So, feel free to take any variation that you want. You might want to drop the knees down onto the mat. Otherwise, lift the knees up and kick through your heels. I want to push through the upper back, and thinking of a very long back and a zipped up core. Let's stay here and look slightly forwards. Nice soft breath. When you're ready, let's take the right foot up, just a couple of centimeters off the ground. Stay for a breath or two. Take the foot down, and then same thing, other side. So left foot comes up. Breathe. Gaze nice and steady. And then left foot can go down, same thing, right foot. Feel free to take it a little bit further if you'd like to. So we can shuffle the weight on to the right hand, so much so that we can lift the left hand off the ground and maybe even extend the left arm forwards. Take a moment, have a play around with it, enjoy any wobbles. And then hand and foot goes down. We can do the same thing on the other side. Take a breather in between if you'd like. Otherwise, left foot, lift it up. Right arm, sweep it forwards. So ideally, your core wants to be squeezing in here, pubic bone up towards belly button. If your core is strong and compact, your arms and your legs can do whatever they want, whenever they want. It's particularly essential when you're running and you're starting to tire. If the core is strong, your arms and legs can keep moving in whichever way they want to. A little pedal out of the feet again from your downward facing dog. And then easy does it. Just take a step or a jump towards a seat, and we'll drop the bum on the ground, extend the legs forwards, and then roll onto our back. Again, just a little bit of core focus. Let's take the arms real long behind us. Stretch the toes and the legs forwards. And then in your own time, take a long breath in. As you exhale, let's bring both elbows towards both knees, just above the tummy. And then inhale to extend both arms and legs away from each other. Exhale, bring them in for the tap. Let's try and do this like 4 or 5 times. Full breath in to stretch out, and then full breath out to go for the tap. 3 more. Lower back wants to stay on the ground if you can. And try and close the gap between your ribs and your pelvis. Let's try 1 more. Full breath in, extend, and then full breath out, squeeze it in. Alrighty, let's come out of this and grab hold of the shins. You can squeeze it in, have a little roll around on the back. Before placing your feet on the mat and preparing for a bridge pose, a stability bridge. So we're going to take the hands down by our sides. Maybe fingers can be by the heels. And when you're ready, just go ahead and press into both of your feet evenly. Lift the hips up real nice and high. Now, with a stability bridge, we really want a straight line between the knees, the hips, and the shoulders. Ideally, your core is kind of starting to engage quite a lot here. Now, we can test this by taking hands onto the hips, or maybe hands onto the ground. Challenging option is hands on the hips, so your elbows are not resting on the ground for support. And when you're ready, let's shift the weight into the left foot. We want to really press into the left foot, squeeze the glutes on the left side, so much so that we can lift the right knee and the right foot to the ceiling. And take the foot back down, shift the weight into that right foot, and then squeeze the glutes to lift the left knee and the left foot. So we press the foot down, weight goes into that foot, squeeze the glutes, and then lift the right leg. Take the right foot down, again press into it, and then lift the left. Couple more rounds on each side, stay strong with it. Hopefully, the core and the glutes will be strong enough to not allow the pelvis to drop down towards the ground, or to certainly drop down to one side. Make sure you're even on both sides. We can just lower the bum and the hips nice and slow. Grab your shins, start to roll forwards and backwards. And then we'll come all the way to a standing position where we can finish off the warm-up. Can take some attention to the arms, the shoulders. Nice standing position, kind of neutral, feet hip distance apart. And when you get there, just 3 or 4 shoulder rolls. Start to loosen out the upper body. Change direction with the turn. Let's go a little bit more dynamic this time. 3 or 4 big circles with the arms. Nice and precise with your movement. And then we'll change direction with the turn there. And then with the arms up nice and high, why don't you go ahead and take one arm forwards and one arm back. A couple of rounds. And then change it up. Nice. A little shake out when you get there. You can come into some helicopter arms. Maybe just general shake out into the fingers and the toes. And then final moment here, just standing in a mountain pose. Weight even on the feet. Palms can flip to face the front. Standing nice and tall. Stay here, or hands onto the ribs. Let's take a moment here just to close the eyes. Tune into the breath. I wonder if you can start to take the breath just a little bit deeper down in towards the lower belly. Feel the ribs expand. And as you exhale, feel the ribs draw back in. Let's do that a few times. So just tapping into a slightly deeper, certainly more diaphragmatic breath. Full inhale, full exhale. Sometimes it can help to count up to about at least 5 or 6 on the inhale. And then at least 5 or 6 on the exhale. Let's take 3 more rounds of deep nasal diaphragmatic breathing. Starting to gradually increase the lung capacity. Give your diaphragm, the tendon that it is, a little bit of a workout before you take it out for a run. 1 more full breath in and out. We can just relax our hands down by our sides. Again, mountain pose, real confident, strong pose. Feels stable here. And maybe just a time to close the eyes and get excited, get ready, get prepared mentally for the run ahead. Thanks for practicing. Hope you enjoy your run. Go well. Namaste.